Well, for the final discussion, we have kept one of the most interesting topics, which is probably making the vibes, the media vibes, the financial vibes, even the stock exchange vibes today, which is e-commerce. And it's something that is of vital interest to us, to all of us in more than one way. So whether we actually choose to sell online or we don't choose to sell online, it is something we all want to know about in order to understand where could the advantage for our forthcoming or our existing venture be for the online businesses. So I have an eminent panel with me who have forayed into online themselves. They have been traditional business owners and they have gone into an online business, making it all the more worthwhile for them to grow their business in this particular area. So, prior to this, we were having a small discussion with, I was having a discussion with my speakers, and they told me something very interesting that, as responsible traditional retail owners, online ventures is supposed to, and this is something which is probably going to be of great value to all of you, that we need to understand that whatever businesses we have built so far don't necessarily need to be killed just because we have another channel of sales, which is the digital world. What we need to realize is that today, how digital world can probably support our traditional businesses and probably add more revenue turnover and so to say the modern age business into our existing business ventures. So I think no better than this panel to really talk about it over here today, because they have seen both sides of the world and are today maximizing it. So I'll start with you, ma'am. Miss Anushree Shrivastava, she is she's with IRCTC, and she is now kind of also heading the online system. And of course that if you have to book a ticket, a train ticket, then you have to go to IRCTC to actually do it. So my question to you would be that how have you managed to successfully integrate your offline business, which was probably always with the agent, into an online business without actually killing the business of your agent, and at the same time, what all other things that you see that you'll be able to do at the IRCTC digital business side?
So IRCTC has been launched in the year 2002, and we started booking rail tickets in the form of a physical ticket, which was available today in the counter, and was also really available then. We realized that we could deliver the ticket not only at the doorstep of the customer, but also evolve it to an e-ticket, which is an A4 size ticket, which could be printed and travel with whenever you needed it. So it's like book now and travel now. That was one of the ease of the product which has hit the market, and even today you can travel with an SMS, which is the ease with which the customer can travel. So making a product or a service readily available to the customer, that is the customer reach, which will hit the market.
Great. So, also to second part of my question was that how do you see IRCTC probably increasing its digital business? So what are the avenues you see in the coming times for IRCTC online?
So we have evolved in terms of voluminous tickets. We have reached to a 13.45 lakh transactions a day, which is the Asia Pacific's largest e-commerce website. So having humongous traffic coming to a website, we want to add value to the customer, provide him hotels, cabs, and products. We've recently done up a tender with a company called Amazon. So customers can now also find products on our website. We don't mind tying up with companies like car ride share companies. Let's say you want to book a ticket to Chandigarh and you're getting a waitlist ticket. You might as well try a car ride share ticket and go to Chandigarh. Or maybe we would also want to venture up doing bus ticketing with bus ticketing companies, wherein instead of rail, we can offer bus ticketing as a product. So other than rail as a product, we have got huge traffic coming to our website. So we can offer other products, tourism, travel, which will add value to the customer, and it's also need of the era today.
Great. So I think a valuable lesson that probably she's given to all of us is that, even if, don't make your business restrictive online. So if you have a good bit of consumer base, a good amount of traffic coming to you, try to give them as much as you can so that your business could actually increase and they could get more value for it. So thank you for that. I'll come to Shivanandan Pare. He's probably heading Trend In. and probably has the best set of brands that we have probably all grown up with and still live with, which is brands like Van Heusen and Louis Philippe, which have always been, Indian favorites. It's something as an office going, as a person who was doing some sort of office or business work, would always love to adorn. And it has grown over the years. So it has been a traditional business, but now with Trendin, they have brought these brands online for the customers. So my question to you, Shivanandan, is that how have you managed to create an online business without harming your traditional business of retail and your franchisees business?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I keep on answering this. I've been answering this question since I joined them to set up our online business. Whether this will cannibalize, whether this will, harm our traditional business, whether all our franchisee and trade partners would be up on arms saying that you should not do it. So initially I used to answer, let's do it. Then let's see what happens. And let's keep it independent, right? So Trendin evolved from a simple philosophy. This was the question whenever I was getting a question in this manner, I used to ask, if our consumers are moving online, then we better be there, right? Because rest of the ecosystem we can still handle. It's a controlled environment. But if we lose consumers, then this business has no meaning for anybody in the ecosystem, right? So Trendin started sometime in March 2013, and as an independent portal for all Madura brands. Only in-house brands we retail. After Pantaloon acquisition, we started retailing Pantaloon brands as well. And every month we used to do this back analysis in terms of what is the overlap between my offline consumers and online consumers. And to this date, we don't see more than 8% of overlap between our loyal consumers and on Trendin. Between 8 to 10% depending on which brand we are talking about, right? So this was the first proof. Because if you look at consumers per se, I would like to classify them in 3 buckets. The first one is, due to lack of better word, analog, or offline for our category. This consumer likes to look at our product in offline stores and prefers to buy the product in offline store. Second set of consumer is people probably at my age group and above who would be digitally savvy, but for apparel would prefer to go to an offline store. So he might still go browse my products on Trendin or on other websites which are selling apparel, but at the end of the day would like to go and do that shopping, complete the shopping journey in a store. The third set, which is digital consumer, who researches in digital world, who buys in digital world. This segment is probably the digital native as we call, and is 70% of this segment is less than 30 years or less than 32 years. Trendin for us caters to predominantly the third segment. And that's how I have been telling everybody, all traditional retailers, do not worry about cannibalization at this stage. The third segment is fastest growing. It's the most relevant segment for the future of your business, our business, right? As retailers, as brand owners. Online will solve the problem for that. As we grow, as online buying or digital buying becomes second nature for consumers, we'll try to solve the other two, which is your analog, digital analog, or offline, digital offline, right? That is where, because when any industry picks up, there's huge amount of hype around it. So that hype builds fear. But if you really look at what is happening, it's only the third segment which everybody is chasing. It's growing fast. It is relevant. It is going to be huge, right? But it is not that we are straight away killing every other business, right? So with that outlook, the first part is for Madura was Trendin. Now, when we are looking at the second two segment, that's a larger segment, that's 96% of the retail business, we are trying to look at how do we solve that. In that journey, franchisees and all our partners are stakeholders. Because once we start that journey and we are at certain stage in that journey, there is no sale called offline sale or a digital sale. For an organization or for a brand like ours, it will be a brand sale. Right? It will be a Madura sale. So each stakeholder has a pie in it. It is just the operational logistics which needs to be worked out. How do we reward or how do we take care of our partners? Right? So in a way, we are very clear that it is a phenomena where people are scared of the digital onslaught. As far as our ecosystem is concerned, we are confident of addressing it. But we are also very clear that future lies in digital. So we need to move there. We need to be aggressive. We need to do right things there.
I think that's a great perspective that Shivanandan has brought, that it's important to understand who is the consumer that you're trying to address online. So at the risk of not harming your traditional business, you could also capture another consumer which is not a part of your traditional business and get him to bring online. I have another question for you on this, Shivanandan. At some point of time, when you find this new set of consumers coming to your digital business, would you like to offer him products which are not in your kitty, or at least non-competing products?
It's a hypothetical question. Probably the answer is, from purely online business perspective, it could be yes, right? But as a business strategy, as of now, we are looking at apparel as a segment and what we can do in that segment. So if it is a vertical which Madura is not playing in, right? We would rather like to look at it from we are actually looking at fulfilling it through our own brands. Right? For example, footwear was not a large category for us. Kids was not a large category for us 3 years ago. But slowly we started, the organization was definitely looking at these two categories before Trendin was launched. But from an online perspective, footwear is a beautiful category which gels very well with online e-commerce. So when footwear launched, it was pre-launched on Trendin.
Sure.
Right?
So that made an unimportant category important.
Right. So the traction for footwear is much faster in online.
Right.
So once Trendin started gaining traction, the larger organization also realized that, unlike the traditional approach of looking at, how much shelf space I have to allocate for a new category to be coming in, how much do I build, how much do I manufacture, without looking at those constraints, today the online channel enables the organization to experiment faster and, as we say in digital world, fail faster also and learn from it, right?
That's right.
So that's the advantage of having your own digital platform. Second thing, just to add on, ability of online players to understand consumer is much, much larger than the offline players. When I joined Madura to set up Trendin, when I looked at the customer base, I realized that, what they know about consumer is far lesser. While they are loyal, they contribute to more than 50 to 60% of the business. From a repeat perspective, the loyal consumer, the CRM database. But what I know about them is far, far less. Online business, digital businesses thrive on this particular gap of knowledge of the offline retailers. So we started demonstrating that, we know this particular t-shirt, how many times it was picked up, how many times it was viewed, but not bought.
Right.
Now this offline retailer does not have. So it's also important for all retailers, offline retailers, to look at digital to enable this, to empower yourself this.
Right.